Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we'll be doing another blind taste test rankings video. Now the way these videos work, for anybody that's not seen one of our previous blind taste test rankings videos, is we have 5 cups of coffee over here, we have 5 bags of coffee over here, and we usually try to identify which of these cups is which of these bags based off of taste alone. Then we rank them in order of our favorites to our least favorite, and there's a theme behind each and every one of these videos. And the theme behind this video is essentially a glorified cupping, as all of the coffees but the Sey are coffees that are ineligible to be reviewed. So we'll go through the backstory of each coffee, beginning with the Sey Coffee, which is the Gerald Njagi, a wash-processed Kenya from Sey Coffee, of course, based out of Brooklyn, New York. And a quick shout out to Andrew, as he sent us about 150 grams of this coffee. We did pay him for this one, so this one would be eligible for a full review. However, we are splitting those 150 grams with Airworks, and as a result, we don't have enough of this coffee to do a full review. And it's a coffee I was very interested in purchasing originally. However, it did sell out before I had an opportunity to ask Airworks whether or not they wanted to split this coffee with us. So for that reason, we can only feature it in this blind taste test rankings video. Next up, we have the Janson 1006, the wash processed Panama from Shoebox Coffee, based out of Chicago, Illinois. And when you see the bag, you'll see that it does have a weird roast curve. And when we met up with Shoebox recently, they gave us this coffee as they were interested to hear some of our thoughts on it. And once again, since it's a coffee that was gifted to us, this is the only opportunity we'll have to discuss this one in video format. So that one's going to be an interesting coffee. Definitely will be interesting because of the listed weird roast curve. Next up, we have the La Muralla, the wash processed Colombia from Ceto Coffee, based out of Keyport, New Jersey. And this one's been a little frustrating because I have had to hold off on trying this coffee until this blind taste test because I wanted to try it for the very first time in this specific video. But of course, Ceto was featured in one of our recent Coffee of the Month polls, and it won that poll. So when we purchased those coffees, we did get this one as a sample, and I have held off on trying it out until now. So we will see how that one turns out. Next up, we have the Selmira Ruiz, the wash processed Colombia from Mirra Coffee out of Kingston, New York. And this one is yet another coffee that was gifted to us, or a sample that was gifted to us in a recent purchase that we did make with Mirra. So I have not tried this coffee either. In fact, I just opened the bag before we started this blind taste test. So also curious about that one. Same thing, didn't want to try it out until we put it in this video specifically. And then last we have an H&S mystery coffee. H&S, of course, based out of Laramie, Wyoming. And you can see that one right here at the front. That's one of the main reasons why I'm not trying to guess which of these coffees each one is, because I have no idea what this Grinch coffee is, but I'm very excited because it very much smells like one of my favorite H&S coffees. So for right now, we will go ahead and move this out of the way for the time being. And that does give us an opportunity to shuffle these around and discuss what we have on our hands here today. Of course, they're not labeled anywhere except on the bottom. And given that I'm not even trying to guess which coffee is which, this is essentially just to demonstrate that for whatever reason, I wouldn't be cheating on this video, but you can see here, yeah, none of them labeled. And let's discuss what we have in our hands here today. So I do imagine that the favorite is probably going to be the H&S Coffee or the Shoebox Coffee, given that the Shoebox is a Panamanian geisha. But of course, we could be thrown for a curve with that one. And then outside of that, we have 2 pink bourbon coffees, one from Mirra, one from Ceto, and then the Sey Coffee, which is probably the biggest underdog. Kind of an interesting note, when brewing these coffees to make for this blind taste test video, it became very apparent just how much lighter H&S is than Sey, because those were the 2 that I brewed at the same time, and I was really stunned to see the massive difference. Obviously, H&S does roast lighter than Sey, but just seeing it in person for the first time in that close of a comparison was very interesting. Outside of that though, yeah, I don't really know what to expect from this one. Just an opportunity to try out all these coffees, and we will see how they all turn out. I do believe all of these coffees are washed, because the only one that I don't know about is obviously that H&S coffee, but it did smell like and brewed like a wash processed coffee, so I do imagine that it is a wash processed coffee, and we will go ahead and start with this one right here. I feel like after I'm done trying all of them, I will go back and give some thoughts with each coffee afterwards, so something a little different in this blind taste test. Here we go though, cup number 1. This is a lovely coffee. I do like all of the coffee roasters that are featured in this blind taste test video, so there's a lot of positivity to be found in this one. This one's a very strong contender though to be my favorite. That is a lovely coffee, very clean. And again, I'm not gonna make any guesses, but it's super floral, it's super clean. You would expect that it's either going to be the H&S Coffee or the Panamanian coffee from Shoebox. That's a lovely coffee. Very happy I started out with that one first. Cup number 2. This one smells like it's going to be one of our more red forward coffees, so either the Pink Bourbon or the Kenyan. Again, I'm not guessing, but that's actually pretty nice. Whatever that coffee is, if it is in fact the Sey Kenya, which I'm not saying that it is, but if it is, I do think I might like this one better than the other Sey Kenya that they released, the Anthony, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I wasn't too excited about that coffee based off some of the first couple of impressions. So it's unfortunate that I wouldn't get this one, but let's go ahead and move on for right now. Cup number 3. This one right here is also pretty nice, but I'm really not surprised. I do fully expect that I will enjoy all of the coffees on this table. That one is definitely my second favorite. This one really stood out. So whoever roasted this one, you did an amazing job. Let's go ahead and move on to cup number 4. I think this is one of our other red fruit ones. The brightness on this one is definitely in your face. Definitely the most tart of them too. Probably my least favorite so far. Yeah, definitely my least favorite so far. All right, final one. This one's pretty good too. All right. It's between these two as my third favorite coffee. These two are easily my 2 favorite from this. But yeah, I think I want to go through just one more time to confirm, but I'm probably pretty happy with these rankings. We'll just kind of see on these last 2. This coffee's my favorite though. This coffee is lovely. That coffee really makes me smile. I do think I know what this one is though, as well. I do think I know what both of these 2 coffees are. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my rankings. This one's better the second run through. Yeah, this one's my least favorite though. All right. The finish on that one's actually really nice. I might reconsider that. I am not disappointed in any of these 5 coffees. This one has a really nice finish, which does make up for the fact that it was my least favorite on the initial run through, but these 2 are still pretty nice. This one's by far my favorite though. All right, let's see what we've got. This one is the Sey Kenya. And since this is kind of a shorter video, I can take a little bit more of a run through. That makes a lot of sense. It does have that listed stone fruit. And I was kind of thinking at the end, I was like, this has a little bit more of a stone fruit finish than I would have expected, given that I assumed it was our Kenyan coffee. Brightness always stands out when it comes to these Kenyan coffees, even in comparison to Pink Bourbons. I don't mind that coffee. It's unfortunate that I wouldn't get an opportunity to review this one. I think it has a lot of nice potential. I do like it more than the other Kenyan coffee that was released by Sey at that time. All right, this one is the Ceto Colombia. As I said, I was not disappointed in any of these coffees. This one, I do think I might like it more than one of the coffees that we are working on from them, which is kind of unfortunate then that we didn't get an opportunity to review this one. Lime note makes a lot of sense. It is a little bit more citric forward, and that was a little bit of the giveaway initially, but then once I had this coffee, I'm like, that has to be our Kenyan coffee. Very nice. Again, I'm pretty sure I know what these coffees are. So this one right here, it is our Mirra Colombia. I don't think anybody is surprised by the fact that the Colombian coffees and the Kenyan coffee were the last 3 placed coffees, and Michael will, of course, not be happy about that, but it's blind. Staying true to my preferences, so yeah, Mirra coffee. Bing, cherry, and kiwi. Yeah. Unfortunate that it placed right there because now it's kind of in my way. All right, so last two, and I'm pretty sure I know what both these coffees are. So this one is our Shoebox Panama. And the main reason why I assumed it was a Shoebox coffee, even though I didn't say, was because when brewing this coffee originally, it did have that very shoebox-like peanut aroma to it. And you can still smell it in the actual coffee itself, regardless of how it tastes. But even then, it's pretty nice. I think the thing about this coffee is it'll probably be better in a couple of weeks. But that means... Thanks for this coffee, Max. I do have some more of this one, and I'm curious to try it out in maybe a couple of weeks. But that means that the winner is a coffee that I don't actually know what it is. It is the H&S Mystery Coffee. And if anyone from H&S is watching this, then please let me know what this coffee is, as I really want this coffee. This is a coffee that I would love to review, and I think it's one of my favorite coffees that I've actually had this year. That is such a pretty coffee. I love that coffee. And I don't even know what it is. But yeah, it would be funny if it was some wild out there processed coffee, but based off of how clean and floral that coffee is, there's no way it's going to be a ridiculously processed coffee. So yeah, that's it. Essentially glorified cupping, but I found this to be really fun and enjoyable. I actually did like all of these coffees, and it's unfortunate that, of course, I won't get an opportunity to review any of these coffees. I think they all have great potential to them. This is the one that I'm kind of curious about how it'll change, but this coffee's wonderful. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this one at that though. If you guys do enjoy these blind taste test rankings videos, as I always say, they take the most amount of effort to do, but they are easily the most fun to do as well. If you're enjoying the content, give this video a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. This right here has been a blind taste test rankings video featuring 5 ineligible for review coffees. Thank you for watching.